This week on the Push Pull Legs podcast, we take a deep dive into the world of over-coaching. What the hell is it? 3, 2, 1. I don't know what I'm even meant to say. I'm going to start this again. 3, 2, 1. It's National Sports Day, Daniel.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Dammy.
And me, Tom Hall. Nice for you to show up, mate. Week late. Good work.
I know, yeah. I apologise for last week, guys. My father and brother were here visiting at the same time. And there was a crossover. And I thought I probably should spend the evening with them. So we had to go out for some food. Unfortunately, so I do apologise. I know you missed me. There's been complaints. People have said that unless I come back this week, they're going to immediately unsubscribe to the podcast, never listen again. I'm back. Don't worry. I listened. I apologise.
The sound podcast, when you listen to this, when we're recording, doesn't come out till tomorrow. But obviously, all we can do. So yeah, nobody's complained yet because.
Don't worry about it.
Like
the way the podcast and recording work, Tom, it'll be a week after, so it's fine. It's not.
That's fine. I thought I just explain to everybody, like in the world behind the scenes, like it's madness. We do as we say, right? Prepare your content for in advance. Crazy, we've only really made that switch lately because of because I thought it would be a good idea because we were a week behind. And I was like, why don't we get a week ahead now? Because it was starting to annoy me. Having to put stuff up in different dates. And I was like, no, I'm sticking to the fucking schedule of going out on Tuesday or Wednesday morning. I was like, but we will do it a week in lieu. It kind of annoys me that we don't always talk about vaguely current things, but it's fine. Nobody gives a shit. So, because like today, like I got a bunch of comments on like leaving Third Space. I was like, oh wait, you're listening to one of those shows. I was like, yeah, okay, that was like, like last week, but last week, I was like, fucking up. That's fine. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Been gone for ages. It's fine. Been paid off. Spent it all. My ISA got fueled up.
Oh, mate, you're not spent on your golf club? I thought you'd get the Paradigm or something. Do you know what I mean? You knew
Paradigm, mate. I've got a fucking step. My driver is shit. Yeah, I work. It's a good driver. I just can't work it. So it's fine.
Neither can Rory McIlroy. Quite a few people have gone back, haven't they?
Rory's gone back to my one. Because he used the Stealth 2.
Oh, that's right. It was the Stealth 2.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want to use that one. But now he's shortened it, apparently. He's like taken 1.5 inches off. That's why he was hitting like absolute bombs at the last event. So he went back and he was like, it was too long. So he shortened it up. He's not a big boy, is he? Was he like your height?
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty big. Yeah.
So, yeah, very interesting. But what's been, obviously, everybody's missed you for the last 2 weeks, obviously. So what's been happening in the world of Daniel?
Not much, mate. Like I said, Dad was over, brother was over, so it was nice to spend some time with them, which was good. My dad absolutely loved Dubai. He was like, I can see why you moved out. I was like, yep, correct. Compared to the UK, it is wonderful. Sorry to rub it into everyone. So yeah, no, it was nice to see them, and then just obviously back to the grind of helping coaches, doing my check-ins, that sort of stuff, and then yesterday, as a day of filming, of course, I shot 3 under, best ever round of golf. That beats your best ever round of golf, which is all I care about, to be honest. My life's complete now. So yeah, I think that proves I'm the better golfer. Technically, I think that's what it proves out of that. But yeah,
well,
I'm good, mate.
I'm according to the scores, according to your handicaps, then how many times made? Yes, fine. I get down as the better golfer currently. Until we play together, then he just crumbles. So it's fun.
I get distracted. I'm too busy. Problem is, I'm too busy trying to teach Tom and help Tom. It takes me from my own game. So it's one of those problems. As a better golfer, it's always tough. But yeah. So no, that was good. That was obviously a long time coming. And I say a long time coming. It wasn't a long time coming at all. Really, but. Yeah, I've had some nice comments from people saying that it's mad how much I've improved, etc., etc. And I really want to do the cliche on Instagram, just being like, yeah, guess what I did? I did all these hacks, bought these special clubs, and bought these special balls. And it's like, I just practiced and played a lot. It's the same thing. Just get better at it. But yeah, so that's good. So my expectations now are going to be ruined every single round of golf I play. Every single round, it's ruined. The game's ruined for me now. So I may just retire.
Kind of apprehensive playing with you again because Dan is a moody golfer. when he's not playing well. So I am on the other side of the spectrum and very level-headed most of the time.
Tom just laughs when he's playing badly. Tom's just
I
just laughs when he's playing badly.
That's fine. Yeah. Whereas, it's fine.
Well, mate, now it's not going to matter because I'm not going to play badly. Can't play badly now. That's it. I nailed it. So, but yeah, no, that's all good. That's all good. And back on it. Check-ins this week, and then just back on for the rest of this year now. Me and Mike got some plans. We've sorted and arranged our event that we're putting on in June, which will be in Leeds on the 17th.
I was like, I'll come. It's in Leeds. Leeds.
Well, we were going to go Nottingham.
I think I'll still come. But
we were going to go Nottingham. But, we were going to go Nottingham. But then with Leeds, we were like, well, from London, it's just one train, really quick train, so it's fine. Like, we were going to do Nottingham anyway, so we were like, well, it's not that much further on. It has to be central for people. And we just fancied a night out in Leeds after, so we thought we'd go Leeds in the end. So, we've got 3 big speakers confirmed.
Thank you. Don't worry, guys. I'm speaking.
Yeah, Tom might be there. And we're still going to make him pay for a ticket, I think. And then, only because food's included. Do you know what I mean? Everything's included. We got food all sorted through the day. Mate, I couldn't believe it. She sent through all the event stuff, and I said to her, can you send me the quote for food and food, catered and non-catered? She was like, yeah, we don't do non-catered. We only go all guns blazing. And I was expecting the price to be fucking ridiculous. And she was like, yeah, this is the price. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. And she was like, yeah, you get pastries on arrival. I was like, Tom, I like them. It's like mid more. In fact, let me read it out. I'll read it out so everyone can get excited. Because this, to be honest, when you go to an event, part of the reason you go is for the food. Let's be honest, it just is. So let me read out what's on, because it's good. I think it's let me see if it's on this one or not. But yeah, so we're doing it 17th of June in Leeds. So you can get a train up and it'll be all good. You can come and say hello to us and learn some good shit. So yeah, we basically
talk to me about that. I don't say hello to you to like most weeks. So
yeah, no, not you. Obviously, not you. Why would I want you? Let me find the email from this lovely woman. Where is she, Becky? Here we go. Right.
Well, if anybody's going to be travelling up from London, I guess you can come with me.
Yeah, you can go, Tom. So listen to this, right? So filtered, still and sparkling water, obviously, selection of cordials, unlimited bean to cup and filter coffee, specialty teas and hot chocolate, served with fresh fruit bowl available throughout the day, selection of arrival pastries and homemade granola and fruit breakfast bars, mid-morning snack bags, chef's choice 2-course hot buffet lunch, afternoon studio baked cookies and tray baked cakes. I mean, it's worth £100 for that alone. Do you know what I mean? Get a day of food, basically. So come along for that. But we've got some pretty good guests coming. Obviously, me and Mike will be speaking. Obviously, it's gonna be a little bit different to how most people do it. We're not gonna make it stuffy and boring, the same old fucking presenters at the same old shit, talking about the same old things. It's gonna be geared around online coaching, obviously, but it's gonna be geared more around content creation and basically getting more of your ideal client through social media, rather than it's going to be more about how to coach people and how to do all that side of stuff. It's definitely going to be more geared around the content creation side of stuff, because most coaches struggle with that. So we're going to do a big push for that over the next couple of months. Sorry. So yeah, that's the 17th of June. So keep the date free, keep your eyes peeled. The early bird price is going to be £99, which is ridiculous. So yeah, there's going to be 100 spaces available at that price. So 17th of June, make sure you're there. And if you want a good night out, probably book a hotel on a Saturday night in the city centre of Leeds, or an Airbnb or something. Because we'll probably sort out a night out.
Yeah, and just get back for Father's Day, which is the 18th.
Don't worry about that. Not important. But yeah, it's Father's Day next day. I think it's actually, isn't it the King's? I think there's one day it's like the King's coronation or something daft.
Oh, is it that weekend?
What's that on? Oh, it's something stupid like that. And I was like, well, no one gives a shit about that, do they? It is the King's birthday. Yeah, the King's birthday. It's on the day of the King's birthday. You know, like no one gives a shit.
But it's on.
He was nobody 5 years ago, wasn't he?
But I've got it on both, like June the 10th and June 17th. It says King's birthday. I know they had like it used to. The Queen used to have 2 birthdays. But it'd be a bit greedy having it.
Mine.
Ah, how weird.
There you go. So yeah, there you go, guys. Keep that 17th of June free. Make your way up to Leeds. Some of our clients have already got tickets already, but we'll be announcing it and released to the public soon. So
lovely. Well, probably, yeah. The podcast listeners are public. All you special people.
They are, unfortunately, yeah. Unless you're in the members group or you're a client of mine, you can message me. And if you missed the link, you probably got it already.
I'm in the members group. I don't do enough trolling. I should start.
No, yeah, no, because I do have an element of authority in there, mate. So please don't start trolling me there, because people will start doing it back to me.
It'll be fine. Nice, mate. So today, well, I did a PTC seminar last week before. Don't know, can't remember. I feel like I've only got one left, so I'm gonna have to start doing my own ones. I'm doing my own ones, but they'll be fun. In London though, not fucking Leeds. Jesus Christ, I'm not traveling that. That'd be a bit weird when most of my clients, hey, you want to go there? No, I don't want to go there. But it was interesting. It gave me content ideas. Unbelievable. When I get content ideas around coaches, I literally just write them down in my notes. But it was an interesting one. So we can vaguely talk about that, Daniel. Maybe it can come from the online coaching point of view. I'm unsure as well. It might go the other way in terms of queuing and explanations and stuff like that. Obviously we're going to talk about Sports Day but this is a week in lieu, but it was National Sports Day, and I posted some stories, and I've actually got one of my reels that's coming out later. Basically all the stories like blended together, because I was like, it basically fits my niche in it. So do sports, train better, all that kind of crap. But damn, what sport did you play?
Cricket and a bit of football, but mainly cricket.
Cricket and football. Yeah, I was obviously mainly football, shit ton of swimming and athletics. But I don't have any pictures of me fucking doing athletics, which I'm really surprised at. But I tried to dig them up. I was like, I've got to put someone on Facebook. And nothing.
Yeah, my dad used to save all the newspaper clippings from cricket. He saved them all.
Yeah. So for football, we like for every football season, the manager for us used to make us a booklet of all of our reviews. Like, was really cool. So we had like a whole like end of year review of every single game, which is quite sweet. It was nice, yeah. But it's interesting. I was just like, what really people want to know is, what did you do at Sports Day, and what were your favorite Sports Day activities? Really, that's what it's about. That's what I thought National Sports Day was. Not about sports, but Sports Day.
Yeah, it's different now, the minute Sports Day, because you can't win, so it's a bit different.
So what Isabel is 7?
Yeah, she does Sports Day. Yeah,
she does Sports Day. But what does she do? Is it so in terms of categories? There's got to be like throw the beanbag in a thing. We had like throw beanbag in hoops. I think that was one. Obviously, there's like egg and spoon race, three-legged race. You're allowed to do that. Sack race, of course.
I don't think she did the three-legged race. Oh no, maybe she did. I can't remember. Laura went, not me.
I would have thought you'd been there for like the dad's race or the parents' race.
Oh, no, I don't embarrass him, mate. I don't embarrass
him. All over that.
It's funny. It's one guy I follow over here. I follow on Instagram. He went to his kid's Sports Day and did the dad's race, and he posted a video of Neil Taylor. You know, the old ex-footballer Neil Taylor, left back for Wales, right back, left back for Wales and Swansea. Yeah. He's over here now, and his kid's in the same school. And he was just like, "What are the fucking chances I turn up to dad's race and I'm against an ex-fucking pro footballer?" Do you know what I mean? And he just basically killed a lot of them, which is quite funny. Yeah. So that was funny. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I'd rock up and someone would fucking think that there'd be someone better than me. Obviously, I wouldn't try and claim and win that. Laura would probably win the female one, to be fair. She should probably have done the mum's race. But yeah. No, I'll tell you what was funny actually was I went to play football week before, for the first time in about 8 years. That hurt. That really that was sort of my hips, my hip flexors. Oh my god, they were so tight. After that, like my right one, especially from all the kick in. Oh, I could feel it cramping up. But yeah, that was a fun experience. But yeah, Sports Day was definitely my favorite. On the Sports Day was the definitely the sack race. Definitely,
I could get that. I don't think I did that. To be fair. I would have done it,
Yeah.
but I don't think I ever did that much. So I don't know. I was just about fucking running. Then I don't remember the like the little kiddie ones very well, because it was like it wasn't about winning, and it was just like, oh, well done, we all get sweets. And you're like, who won? It's like, oh, we weren't keeping count. Well, why the fuck are we doing it? What's going on? When the races, we know who wins because it's whoever crosses the line. So what's the hell's going on? So didn't agree with that. It's sad that that's a thing now, isn't it? It should be more. At least give everybody a trophy, but highlight who did well. Surely, like, bit weird, but yeah, it's National Sports Day. So if anybody's playing sport, or me, I just feel like it tapped into. I wrote about it in my email as well. I was just like, surely it taps into people who there's still a sport or something that people love doing, or who did love doing, and it's just like, why don't you still do it? There's a reason why me and Dan play golf, like playing golf, is because that kind of sporting element outside of fitness, but still something we can train kind of for, and there's like carryover, a skill element, all that kind of stuff. And it's definitely people should be like playing badminton or fucking LOLs or I don't know, tennis and all that kind of fun stuff that like they definitely would have enjoyed when they were younger. But then they go to the gym and just like, yeah, I'm still gonna do just 3 sets of 10 back squats and then or half squats or whatever. And then do my bicep curls and then crack on. Or like spend half an hour doing their, was it 30, 3, 12? What was that? 12, 3, 30? That's the workout. That workout that bodybuilders do. That was telling. I'm gonna call her out right now. Holly Davidge. I put my story up about ESD testing, aerobicity testing, just on the assault bike. And then I was like, on one of the polls, it's like, what was the your most hated piece of like cardio equipment, like assault bike, Airdyne, like a Concept 2 rower or a watt bike. And she messaged me, was like, is it bad that I don't know what any of those pieces of equipment is? I was like, yes, it is. I was like, you go back to your fucking treadmill walking.
Yeah, she's like, all I know is the Stairmaster has different levels to it. That's what I consider hard or not hard.
It was like, that is precisely why bodybuilders are probably not aerobically healthy, and why I will always say walking isn't cardio. They're like, oh, but it is, Tom. I was like, it's not, is it? It's not, though, is it? Really?
It's not.
Not for people in their athletic build. Walking is not cardio. It's not.
No.
Okay. For somebody who's clinically obese, yes, it probably will have an effect. But yeah, walking is not cardio. I'm not funny. Sorry, Holly.
Yeah, unlucky Holly. I think that I genuinely think that with golf, for me, it's as much the getting outside away from stuff as it is about anything else. But I do think that playing a sport is pretty vital, I think, as you get a bit older. And within that, I would actually categorize even stupid things like darts, snooker, which you would say isn't really a sport, because I do think that when you're younger, you have this no fear attitude of being injured, getting hurt, or anything like that. Which is why I think when you're younger, playing loads of football and, you know, a lot of people do boxing and things like that, I just don't think they really care. Whereas I think when you get older, you realize, hang on, if my ACL goes here, I'm fucked. Do you know what I mean? I can't be asked for that shit. And again, the extreme soreness that comes with football, like I played and I was fucking horrible. I'm still going to keep going and play just because, again, it's a bit of the social stuff. And it's actually, for me, a bit of cardio, to be fair, because golf isn't, whenever anyone says it's not cardio, even though you walk around, it's not. It's just a nice long walk. And I do think, like you said, there's an element to it where you then have a reason to train in the gym and all that sort of stuff. But it's more just, I think it gets you outside and gets you away from daily life. Like I had when my brother and dad were here, I had a couple of days where I didn't feel particularly great about just within myself, like mental health days and stuff, just not feeling brilliant. Like we all have them. And I realized, I was like, I've just not been outside and played golf and seen other people. I've just literally stayed in. I've seen my brother, my dad and Laura and that, but I hadn't really seen anyone else. I hadn't done anything else. I've just done the same old shit. And it just makes you realize how I think a lot of people are very close to like the minimum effective amount that they need to feel good. And if they drop below that, they start feeling really, really shit. Whereas when you're a kid, you're probably near the maximum amount you could fucking do. So you never really got those feelings when you drop down a little bit because you're always still doing something. And I feel like as adults, because of work and life and everything that takes over, when it comes to socializing, when it comes to getting out of the house and doing other activities, I feel like we do the bare minimum. So when you have a week where you can't quite hit that, like I get it with clients all the time, if they don't manage to get to the gym 3 times in the week, they feel shit. They're like, oh, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, I feel crap, I'm not sleeping well. And I'm like, you've almost got this minimum effective amount you need to do outside all the shit you've got going on in work and life. And for me, that's what I feel like with golf. I get from going 3 times a week, it's 4 hours long. I feel like I get plenty of that time. And I think that's what it gives you is that you have that thing to look forward to. Like I look forward to that round. Like I'm looking forward to running a round of golf. Like it's something to keep you focused on. I think the same thing would apply if you again, like I said, wanted to do snooker or darts. I don't think it really matters what it is. I don't think it needs to be particularly active. I just think it needs to be something different. And I think that as you get older, the reason you don't do football, cricket is because it hurts. Do you know, it's just harder. And I think that's where you can pick a sport that isn't as hard. I think it's more the actual activity of getting out of the house with different people that I think is pretty key. Went off on a tangent there, didn't I? But I think it's important. And like you said, then it does give you a reason to, if you do miss the gym or you have a reason to train, if it's a little bit more athletic, like for us, golf, obviously a bit more athletic. I wouldn't say darts and snooker would be, but you know, like you said, badminton, tennis, same thing applies. Like it's the same principle. You'd still want to be stronger and fitter and all that sort of stuff for it. I just think because most guys just did, like I said, football. It's just, I don't really want to play football now. It's like, okay, well, play something else then. Yeah. Like, try it, take it up, learn. Like the fun comes in the learning. Like I said, with the golf for me, the fun bit has been learning. That's what I think. That's what I think is important.
Oh, for sure, 100%. Right. Right. So if we move on to the content idea that obviously I'm going to do a little series on. But please come in from an online coaching perspective. And obviously, these are the seminars that I've taught for a while, but it was just an interesting fact. So these were only like level 2, level 3 assessments that I was doing. Okay. And one of them, I see my perspective as an assessor and kind of tutor is to kind of give like kind of critical feedback for people to take on and go learn from, and where I'm going to point them in the right direction stuff. And it's something that I talk about. So I used to teach a seminar on just coaching science for third space and like queuing science and all this kind of stuff. When and not to queue and how to do stuff. And I've just put the term like overcoaching in. And that sounds very odd from a perspective of like a level 2 to 3 level coach, right? But there's what's the fucking theory? Like you like know nothing, then you know everything, then you know nothing again.
Dunning-Kruger effect.
Dunning-Kruger effect. Thank you. So I think people at level 3 are high on that scale, and they obviously want to get over as much information as they know, probably because deep down they don't know. They've only just learned it and probably don't know a lot. Okay. So there was two lads, and I reckon one of them might actually be listening. So you know who you are, who I gave feedback of. And I've done it before. I was like, I think you both are good coaches, but I think you both overcoached and told the person way too much. There was like maybe 2-3 minutes before they even started fucking moving and doing an exercise. I was like, no, that's too long. I was like, the person's cold basically now and bored as well. I was like, I realized it wasn't criteria, but if I want to know about the thing, I'm going to ask you. So it was like, all right, when we need to get the client moving a little bit quicker. And I was like, if you were going to talk somebody through something, I was like, I want you to pick 3 cues from that exercise, and that is it. And just rely on them, and only kind of go in when the client has fucked up. I was like, you've told them a laundry list of shit to do, and you haven't even seen whether they could do it without all that stuff first. I was like, there could be a case of, do this, please. You do a perfect demonstration, and you don't have to coach them whatsoever, and because they've already can move like that. And it's a big case of overcoaching when somebody's going with a load of cues and bringing that in and trying to give them as much information even before they've done the thing. So it's almost like I want to kind of learn by doing. So it's discovery based learning first. So because that's going to stick, instead of going, here's all the information, do it as best your ability straight away, without being like, they might be a natural at it, they might be dog shit, but then you get to look magic and then you coach. It's like, I always want to see what the person, it's like if Dan was going to come to me and do like an S&C course, I might give him a practice paper first. He might fucking nail it and be like, got like 90 out of 100. I'll be like, well, we don't really have to do much stuff, really. Yeah. You've got it all up there now. I don't need to coach you. My job as the tutor is fine. I'm going to see what you know first before I coach and fucking bore the shit out of someone. I don't know if that is in the online coaching community. Obviously, I am an online coach, but you've been doing far longer than me. So is that a thing?
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same, but I'm going to come at it from a nutrition standpoint as well.
Yeah.
So we recommend doing an assessment week with clients. And with the assessment week, I don't say to them, eat more protein, like here's your calories, and then I'll assess your diet. I say, do what you would normally do without me here on a normal week. Just track everything this week and let's just see what happens. Inevitably, the first few days are bad and then they get better as the week goes on and they realize what's going on. But it always helps because it makes me realize what they would do in a normal environment. And it's the same with what you just described. It's exactly the same. As I don't want to know what you think of the cues I'm giving you. I want to know what you think a squat is, because then I'll know what I need to work on the most. So I've seen people do squats before and I've seen them collapse down to the bottom and then they kind of like come back up again. And most people would, if you'd have cued that person first before doing that and said, move down slowly here, they would have done it perfectly. But I know that naturally the woman in question didn't have the motor control and the strength to control her descent or think about controlling her descent. She just dropped to the floor. So I'm like, okay, cool. So with her, actually, it wasn't about mobility and keeping her chest up and all these other things you might say. It was literally she needed just to slow down and actually not go as deep, which again is counterintuitive to what you might say to someone doing a squat. And I think that, like you said, it comes back down to that you don't know what's wrong until you see anything. Like, because all these cues you use are only relevant if you can see them doing it wrong. Because I used to have a bank of cues, but for some people they'd work and some people they wouldn't. And you kind of go, what's the point of me just shouting random fucking words at you? And it's the same with nutrition. There's no point me saying to someone, right, eat high protein, eat loads of veggies, if I look at their diet and they're already doing that. Because some people did come in and they're already eating enough protein, already eating enough veggies. They just weren't eating enough to gain muscle. I'm like, right, cool, you need to eat more. And if you give them the guidelines too soon, you don't actually get to the root problem, like what the root problem is with half this stuff. And I think with training especially, the amount of times we used to get a new client and go, okay, cool, I just want to see you just do a squat, just whatever you think a squat is. What do you mean? I was like, oh, just like she's doing over there. Someone will be doing a squat, but like, just like that, just do a squat like she's doing. And you wouldn't give those cues. You just say, yeah, just do that. If you didn't know what one was, again, you just demonstrate it, but without the cues, just go, just do this. And it just fascinates me, like you say, that people, it comes from a good place. It comes from a place of enthusiasm and wanting to help. I get that.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's definitely more prevalent in new trainers, whereas for us, we're a bit more relaxed. Just go, let's just see what you do. Just see what you do. Like the amount of people, like, I just want you to do a lunge for me. I'm like, oh, okay, we're not going to do lunges for a little while. Do you know what I mean? Straight away, rather than coaching them through it all and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's always a sign of a good trainer is that they look relaxed and like they're not doing much. That for me was always a sign of a good trainer. Or the better ones were always the ones that looked like they weren't really doing much, but they knew exactly what they were doing. Like exactly. Like
I reckon it'd be an interesting
moving around.
It'd be an interesting thing to watch me now as well, because I always almost have a self-awareness as well, because I'm a little bit on the shop floor a little bit more now, because obviously I'm just like all by myself in private. And I do get that aspect of people, do they think I'm not doing that much? But I'm just like, I know my clients moving well. I know they're doing what I want them to do. And I'll come in and be like, can you just move your fucking leg there, please, prick? That's generally how I speak to my clients. But then it'll be like just that tiny little bit of coaching, more than likely. And I'm very much a fly on the wall coach. But if they're going to hurt themselves, or if I can fix it within 2 seconds, I'll fix it. If I can't fix it within 2 seconds, wait till the end of the set and then discuss it. More than likely. Or I won't discuss it straight after. I'll discuss it just after their resting period and just before they're about to do that set. So it's fresh in their mind as well. So it's a lot about when you have to cue that as well. So at the end of the set, there's very rarely they'll be like, turn to me and go, is that good? Was that good? I'm like, none of my clients fucking do that. Like they can give a shit. It'll be like before that's happening. So, it is to do with self-discovery. We do it in like lectures and tutorials and stuff like that. There's a reason why I ask people to do teach backs and self-discovery and kind of like go off and do what you think. What do you think to do? Because if they've got it right already, then I don't need to do my job. Like my job's done. It's cool. I just need to refine it and be like sprinkle a bit of magic fairy dust on it. So it's cool. And also what you said, like if somebody's not doing that thing around you, and I said to them, I was like, neither of you really I was like, you both move really, 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 really fucking well. And unfortunately, you are your own product. I was like, and if you do the exercise immaculately with no coaching cues, or just try and do this, please, and you do it perfectly, more than likely they're going to replicate exactly what you've just done. More than likely, because that's the only point of reference they have of replication and copying. So if you gave them two shit ones, yeah, they'd do that. They'd like have a little decision, like it'd be terrible. So it is a bugbear of mine when people don't use their own like demonstrations well, and try and grab their attention. Because that was a thing. It's like, all right, you've given a load of coaching cues before you've even demoed as well, because they have no context whatsoever. They didn't know what a squat was 2 seconds ago. Now you've told them to get like a posterior shift and shove this or whatever, even if they're not using that kind of language. It's just like, okay, cool. Just show what they're doing, ask them to do that, and then crack on. And then you can ask them to squeeze here, or I want you to try and feel this area. Cool, let's do that. Because you can get 90% there by literally just showing them, and that's it. So overcoaching guys and girls, it can be a real thing. But yeah, like what Dan said with the nutrition side of things, yeah, you want to learn, want to know where they're at. And if you don't have to change as much as you need to, then don't make work for yourself. Fuck me. Chill out, take a breath, and be like, cool, now let's sprinkle like 1, 2, 3 things tops. I was like, I guarantee at the start of this tangent, you probably start off like you probably remember the first thing I said, but can't remember anything else I've said. So that's probably why. People just please back in. Dan speaks.
I think with that, I think it's one of those where you, as well, like you said there about like the fact you don't really say much in person as well. I think PTs feel like they have to say things to kind of make themselves valued by the client. And it's like the client wants to just get results and know they're doing the right thing. And like I said, I think that half the time comes from that. It comes from coach not having the confidence in their ability to just be quiet and just not really say anything. Like you're allowed to just not say anything. Like you're allowed to. It's fine. You don't have to just constantly be talking, constantly saying stuff. And I feel like that's one of the things that I think coaches struggle with is feeling like they need to justify themselves. Feel like they need to justify the fact that they're there. You know, that's the bit I think that they struggle with. That's where it comes from as well. I think some of those things that you mentioned with the stressing and worrying about how it looks or whatever. They just really don't need to.
So you got the answer every now and again. My client asked me today, I was very surprised. Every now and again, I get a question from one of them, like, why the fuck are we doing this? Because we're doing like overloading eccentric phases on like a half kneeling overhead press. And like the guy's like piss weak pressing overhead. And I wanted to overload his eccentric phase. And I was just like, yeah, so we're recruiting this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, why is this harder than me just pressing it normally? I'm like, basically, you can lift about 100%, 170% of what you can do when you press overhead, like, or press concentrically. I was like, the down bit is actually going to make you more sore. Apologies, Nick. That's why we're lifting this. So, yeah. Like, see how you're struggling with this 22 kilo? You shouldn't be. You're a strong lad. Yeah. So that was why. It's always interesting when I get quizzed. So it doesn't happen very often. And I'm like, oh shit, I have to speak and like know the answer. About. Hopefully, I just steal it, mate. So that's fine.
That's it. Well, that's what we all know. You do that now. So you just
no. I just go. Let me just look up an Instagram post and pay for this. That'd be fun. This guy said it, so that's why. Bullshit.
It's fine.
It's almost like written courses. No. Always poking the bear. Right, Daniel, what is this trend? And I think I'm going to make a spoof video. I feel like this is a mic video, if I'm really honest. The people so me and you are doing a podcast right now. Okay. And I realize I'm not speaking into this microphone, but you're speaking into that microphone.
Yeah.
Why are people doing content where they act like they're on a podcast, but they're not on a podcast, and they're speaking off to the camera, and they're speaking here, but they're not doing a podcast, but they've done a podcast style reel?
Mate,
I don't understand.
They did it not long ago.
Podcast.
They did it not long ago, mate, with check-ins. Clients was a big popular thing. I don't know where it's gone. Me and Mike made a video about it. I think it's probably why it's gone. Like they would pretend that they were checking in with their clients. So they would set up like basically they would have everything set up like this. Like obviously I talk to you face on with as a check-in, and they would then set their phone up to the side, which you wouldn't do if you were doing a check-in because you just wouldn't do it. And they're basically going, they basically say something like, yeah, so you see, the problem here is that, you just don't really kind of like rely on motivation. You need to kind of make sure that you've got the discipline to carry through your habits so that, saying things that you wouldn't say on a check-in because it just sounds ridiculous. They would send that as if they were talking to someone. And it's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? That is useful for no one. But yeah, you're right. They do it on podcast. They do it.
It's the podcast honestly, one. I'm just like, if you want content style, like pod-based kind of content, surely just find another coach and do like an hour of podcasting and talking about topics that you want to talk about, and then cut them up as reels. No, then it'll be like a podcast, and then you've got a podcaster for it as well.
Honestly, the amount of stuff I see coaches do for content, it baffles me. It really does. I just think what coaches do with that, the reason I think they think that's a good idea is they watch other people who are maybe mentors or in business or something like that, and they see them doing that and go, oh, I like that kind of content because I watch it because they're interested in it for self-development. But they then fail to realize that people, Gen Pop, don't like seeing that sort of stuff. They just don't. They're just not there for that. That is not why they're on Instagram. Like, people are on Instagram to watch funny videos and to tag their mates and shit. That's what they're on Instagram for, majority of the time. They're not there to learn. You're there to learn because you're a coach and you found people on there. It baffles me. Oh, mate, I'm with you, mate.
I just find it every single time I see it, and I know there's definitely people who are listening to this show who have done this show, those reels. Fair enough, it's content, but I don't understand. It's the whole thing. I'm just like, just talk. You definitely know another coach. Just do a podcast. Or just do a live little real talk back, blah 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 blah. So you've got that content, and it'd be absolutely fine.
It's not even that. For me, it's the coaches need to sit down and again think about what their clients and what their people want and what. I'm all for putting out content, and like you say, oh yeah, it's content. But I think that coaches fall into this trap as well of just posting content so that they turned up that day to post content.
Yeah.
And I actually think that posting too much shit content will put people off. Because they'll go, I don't want to see that type of content. I don't want to see that kind of podcast shit or whatever it might be. I don't know. I just find it, coaches their content, I find it frustrating because I feel like the answer to it is the more content you create, the more you'll find what you want to do. And the more you'll find your rhythm with stuff and, you'll find your voice and all sorts of stuff. And it's a little bit like them saying, just being a calorie deficit. It's kind of like me saying, just do more content. And it's a bit shit advice. It's also the right advice, but it's also a bit shit because what coaches then do is they then copy other coaches' content. And it's like, right, that's not really what I mean. What I mean is find your own way of doing it. So you do some talking heads, you do some character skits, you do some funnier bits, you do some training videos, you do some podcast reels, whatever. And you see what reaction you get from people. Because most of the time, those podcast type reels just get no engagement. They get no one watching, no one bothering, no one replying, no one going, oh my God, I must sign up for coaching with you. You don't get huge followers, you don't get loads of shares. Whereas when you do things like funny videos, they get more reach, they reach more people, they get more comments, they get more followers, you get more people watching your stories to find out what you're like. And I just find it really hard because I can't tell a coach what content to post. I can't tell them what's going to work best for them. They need to just try shitloads of different stuff. Just not the podcast reels because they aren't not great. Yeah.
I mean, not our podcast reels, but there's a purposefully thing as why I asked Joe when he does the podcast reels for me, is can you pick out one serious topic and then 3 fucking stupid topics, please? That's a reason, because the stupid topics always do better in terms of reach. And I'm not trying to get clients. I'm just trying to get people to possibly go and listen. And all the podcast reels that we do is literally, that's just about reach. That's literally it. Just getting our talking heads over that. I'm trying to buy a client from that because that's not a thing. I'm trying to lull them in so they see some of my other shit. So, but I'm going to do more of these. I'm going to just speak off to the side, pretend that Dan's here. I don't know whether
speaking off to the side, but
people will think I'm speaking to you because I do a show. I'm like, they'll be like, oh, he's talking to Dan. I'm like, I'm not talking to anybody.
It's the looking off to the side.
I'm going to do one of them.
It's the looking off to the side. I can't deal with it.
Oh, I'm going to be talking and talking and then talking, and then I'll be like, yeah, I'm talking to those guys.
Yeah, I can't. The thing I can't deal with is the talking off to the side, because one thing we do know with social media is that the more eye contact you have with the person and when you're doing those sorts of videos, the better. We know that. And it's just kind of like, oh my God.
I get annoyed when people look after this when they talk to me, and I'm like, am I sorry? Or they like look slightly above you, and you're like,
you should know, mate. You should have told me that, mate. I'd have carried on doing it like this. Like, just, let's do that let's get Joe to do that as a reel. We'll just get Joe to do that as the reel. We'll both just look off to the distance. Like, something really. Let's just say something really insightful now, and really thought provoking, because it's really engaging when you're sat looking like this, looking off to the side. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, interesting that. Yeah, really good. And then just a pan. We should just do a little pan camera. Then it's just like, there's nothing there. Okay. I'm looking at a bottle of sunscreen. That's what's happening.
Which you definitely don't fucking need right now.
No, it's raining big time. Wonderful. Yeah, that I knew you'd like agree with me. Fuck me. It's annoyed me for a while. And they've been around for like a good couple of months, because I feel that it's the first one I saw, and I unfollowed him because I was just like, I'd been following him just because for a little bit, and I've unfollowed him again. Is Jamie Alderton, and he does he puts his phone there, speaks to his phone whilst he's being recorded there. And he's like, hey, Dan, what's going on? You need to do this because of this.
That's probably why people do it, because they follow him and they like his stuff, and they don't realize it's a completely different audience.
And he wants to work with coaches.
Yeah.
That's his niche. So it's a funny one, because I remember him talking about it at FitX, Expo, whatever, and he was like, yeah, if you don't talk at the camera, people like it. I was like, just people like your stuff, Jamie. That's what they like. They like that you do mad shit sometimes. That's the only thing. But yeah, I had to unfollow. I can't take this. Stop speaking to your phone when your camera's in front of you. Like, fuck off. Don't really understand. Talk to me.
The thing is
I want to be like I'm the only one in the room.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff is just words as well with his stuff, I feel like saying.
Anyway, we'll bring this show to a close. But Dan can just like your intake. I'm dieting right now, Dan, because I've decided to come down in a bit of weight because I'm a big boy. Also,
someone's got a trip to Dubai planned.
I feel like, all right, I realize we will do a whoop or a whatever, but if somebody is lacking motivation, and that is both me and Dan have definitely lacked motivation for training, and me getting my whoop and it telling me that I'm like recovered and should train, it has an effect. I've been for 2 runs. I've trained at least 5 times a week for the last 2 to 3 weeks since I got it. Actually, since I got the whoop, it must be 3 weeks, 4 weeks at least. It's made a positive effect, and it's because I'm turned on. I'm excited by data and it being at me. Exactly like what a coach would be, right? So I was like, but I don't have a coach that I have to check in, right? I just have programs, and I'm just like, if that for 16 quid a month is just like having a go at me every now and again, it is worth its weight in fucking gold. I think in telling me to recover. So today it's like obviously told me I had shit sleep and I probably shouldn't train very well. Like I trained fine, but I backed off. I didn't do the exact numbers. I went through the flow more than anything else. It was like, I'm not going to peak in any way. So it's absolutely fine. But it's been interesting. So I'm dieting right now, Dan. I'm going to come down to a nice, I think, like current. All right. Also a reason why I weighed myself. I was 93 kilos. I should not sit at 93 kilos. I was like, that is reasonably, I'm pretty strong, right? I can always deadlift 200 kilos, always squat 150, blah, 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 whatever. That's never going to go. But it's because I was like, I wonder what my 5K time is. And I was like, I went for a run. Fuck me, I felt heavy. Oh, and I only realize it when I'm doing like my bounds and my jumps and stuff. I can kind of get away with it because I'm pretty springy. But when I went for a little run, fucking hell, hated it. So I was like, no, this ain't happening. I'm coming down at least like 7 to 8 kilos. So I'm going to come down to about 85 and just sit a little bit better.
Yeah, I think I think I'm in a similar position that I don't feel great at the moment. And I think it's off the back of 10 days, my brother and dad being here and eating out quite a lot and all this sort of stuff. But you can also feel it in yourself. And I said to Laura the other day, I was like, on the mornings when I get up for golf, I'm fine. I get up and run around for golf. But I started noticing that I feel a bit tired, lethargic. I should be getting enough sleep. I think I'm just unfit. And I said, I'm just unfit. Like when I look at it realistically, I go to the gym a couple of times, 3 times a week, maybe at max. Golf 3 times a week. People would go, oh, you're probably fit and healthy. But I'm like, if I did a 5K now, I would be blowing out. Like I was at football, I was blowing out my arse. And I was like, what I might do is every morning I don't have golf is go out do a 5K, quick 5K, For me, would be fucking 25 minutes, to be fair. Fucking quick one. Jesus Christ. Like, I would probably
That's exactly the same as me. I was
now.
like, I could always run a 25K no matter what it seems like, even as fat and heavy as I am, because I've always got an okay base. But I was just like, I should be able to run like a near a 20. This is in theory. But I was just like, this is fucking shocking.
Yeah, and I was thinking about the other day. I was like, I really should start doing that because it's not difficult. It's not hard. I don't think you need to be particularly.
It's not a long time.
I think 5K. No, it's not a 25 minute run 3 times a week in the morning. It's going to make you feel pretty good and pretty energized. And I think, probably from my time bashing cardio a lot and that sort of stuff, I was also doing loads of walking, loads of steps and stuff. And as I've just become more and more sedentary, I just feel minging. Like, it's not even necessarily about how, whether you've got loads of body fat, like we wouldn't be described as overweight or anything like that, but I do feel like a little bit like wobbly, and I'm like, do you know, I just don't feel good. And even if I go to the gym, I still feel the same way. And I think it's because I don't really get like blood flowing that much. I don't really, do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel a bit. I think as you get older, you realize running actually isn't that bad. It probably is quite a good thing for you to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, just go out and fucking do it. But it's just when that bed's quite warm in the morning and the alarm goes off and you just can't be asked to move. But I'm like, I can for golf. Do you know what I mean? The alarm goes off at 5:30.
You're like,
straight away. Someone said 20-minute run. I'm like, nah. But I need to do it. I need to hold myself accountable to it. And like you said, that's where I charged up my Apple Watch the other day because I was like, well, I'll use that to obviously track all the data and get an idea of it. And then I've got my Oura Ring is tracking stuff for me, so I'll be able to see that I'm getting fitter as well when I do it. And it's just a case of get up and doing it, mate. I'm in the same boat. I think it's very easy when you do more online stuff, you just are more sedentary. And I think the thing that I find interesting, finish on this. The thing I find interesting now is that I am a lot of my clients, like my coaching clients, ideal demographic. I am. Like, I say this to them all the time. I was like, not being funny, but you should be selling your services to me. Think about me when you're selling it, because I've got a kid. I'm fucking busy. I've got other priorities. I've got other things that I prefer to play golf than go to the gym, obviously. I was like, try and convince me to sign up with you. Because I said, what content would you want me to? Because I said, I'm not sitting and watching your content. It's boring. I know my stuff about the gym and nutrition and stuff like that. But I said to him, look, think about it like that. Is like, you're almost your target demographic because you're almost becoming more sedentary. You're not going to the gym as much. And it's because you realize that other things just take over, become slightly more important. And I think everyone goes through this point where when they're younger, they do loads. And then as they get towards their 30s, they start doing less. And I think they come out the other side of that and realize, hang on, life's fucking short. Actually, it's not as important as I thought it was, all this work. And actually, I'm going to take myself seriously. Nearer 40, they start doing more, being more active. I think you get one or two ways with that, I think, at that age. Anyway, but I think we'll go the other way where we'll be like a bit more active and, still feeling fit and slender and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I said to my clients, like, I'm your perfect demographic. I do fuck all steps. I don't prepare my own food. I fucking very rarely do anything like that. I don't eat at the same time every day. I just about drink enough water. I play golf and I skip the gym. Like, that's what your ideal demographic is, right? Remote worker, sits at desk all day. Yeah. Fucking hell. It's funny how the tables turn, isn't
it? And on that, I've said to obviously the guys that normally come for me, that stuff. Like, I know my target demographic is me 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Very simple. Yeah. That's what a lot of PTs who want to work with coaches and people who are playing sports. It's like, probably you, but just a little bit beforehand. Like, that's fine. Just always think about that about yourselves or who you're surrounded by, who you're meant to be doing. So it's good, Dan. Good work.
Yeah.
Good work, mate. All right. Bring it to any other business.
No, just the event we've got on 17th of June. Keep your eyes peeled. If you're a listener and you want, and you're not in a members group and you're not a client, but you're a long time listener and you love me, not Tom so much, just drop me a DM and I can send you the link to get a ticket for the event if you want to come. Beautiful. Before all the spaces sell out at the early bird, because you're a diehard fan, so it's fine.
I'm going to be there.
Heckling, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm going to wear my big... I'm going to get a T-shirt with your face on it. Brilliant. I'm doing this.
That's what we need.
It's not going to go down well. People are like, who the fuck's this twat?
Yeah.
None of it. There'll be 3 people who listen to the show. And we're like, oh.
They'll get it.
You're right. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next week.
See you later.